Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. That Karen was a total a-hole. Congratulations for keeping your cool, OP. I hope your manager gets what's coming to him. More right after a short pause. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Banned a girl from a slide, mom got in my face and called me slurs. Okay, first a little context. I work at a water park roughly 30 minutes away from my house, and I got a job from being friends with the director and having another friend in the business. But don't think for a second that I don't work. I'm the second hardest working person there, and I've received Employee of the Month twice in the single year I've worked there. So I knew people there, and people liked me. I don't particularly like kids, but I can handle them well enough. The water park also had two sections, the kids' side and the adult side. This story takes place in the kids' side of the park. All my fellow employees hate working the play structure. It's got a slide and kids are annoying, so I decided to take it for the day, take one for the team, So I was up in the play structure, and my job was to send kids down the slide when it was safe for them to go. This little girl comes up to the top and wants to go down. I wait a second until I see the other kids start to get out, then turn to tell the girl she can go, but she's already halfway down the slide. She nearly hits the kid because he was slow to get out. She comes back up and I kneel down and say, "Hey, that was dangerous. You could have hit that kid and both gotten hurt. Please wait for me to tell you when it's safe to go down the slide." She nodded and actually followed my instructions. But this is when she broke the rules again. At the entrance to the play structure, there's a sign that gives the rules. Wait for the worker to let you go down before going down the slide, and you aren't allowed to go face first. She decided to ignore Rule 2 and went down face first. She came back up again, so I knelt down again and said, "Hey, you can't go down head first, you could hurt yourself." She nodded and then went down head first again anyway. The play structure works on a 3-strike system, so as that was her third time breaking the rules, I had to kick her off the slide. So when she came back up and started to walk towards the slide, I stepped in her way and said, "I'm sorry, you broke the rules 3 times, so you can't go down anymore." She yelled at me and tried to push her way past, but I'm bigger and stronger than her, so she couldn't get through and went back down the stairs in a huff. A solid 10 minutes pass. Then she comes back holding her mother's hand. Her mom says, relatively calm at first, "My daughter told me you told her she couldn't go down the slide anymore. Is that true?" I said, "That's correct, ma'am." She asked me why, so I explained that if a person breaks the rules 3 times, they can't go down the slide. She gets closer to me and says, "Okay, I understand that, but she's 4 years old." I respond with, "Ma'am, it doesn't matter how old she is, she still broke the rules 3 times, so she can't go down the slide anymore today." She gets even closer and says, "Okay, but she's 4. I respond with, "I understand, but the rules apply to big kids the same as they do for the small kids, so she can't go down anymore today." Now, I'm 19, close to 20, relatively tall, not super muscular, white guy. Another thing I deal with, severe anger issues. And based on trauma from my childhood, people being in close proximity to my face makes me incredibly uncomfortable. This lady was maybe an inch away from my face when she started yelling at me and calling me a effing F-word. I was so close to losing my cool I could actually feel my face turning beet red. My hands were balled into fists and my jaw was incredibly tense. A bit more about me. I might look like a scrawny white kid. When I get angry, I look like a demon. Not my words. I wasn't even doing anything and I was terrifying her daughter. In an attempt to keep my cool and to get this wail out of my face, I said, "Ma'am, please do not call me slurs. It's uncalled for and rude. I'm only doing my job." To my surprise, she actually got out of my face, scoffed, and said, "Let's go find someone in charge." Apparently, she had a day pass because I saw her later that evening talking to my manager. She looked over and saw me cleaning, and I just hear, "That's him." My manager, Herm, who hates me by the way, comes over to me and asks if I assaulted this woman's daughter. I, of course, said I didn't, but because he's a rampant butthead, he went to look at the cameras anyway. He saw that I was right in what I did and that I did everything according to procedure. We then went over to talk to the lady. She said, "Well, is he in trouble or not?" Herm looks at her and says, "He never did anything wrong. He never assaulted your daughter." Then he gets this strange look and asks for her day pass. At first she refuses to give it to him, then relents and gives Herm her pass. Turns out she wasn't even supposed to be there. Her pass had expired the day before, but she just didn't leave the hotel, so I had the privilege of escorting her to her room, waiting outside while they packed, and then escorting them out of the building. She was cussing me out the whole way out of the park in front of her 4-year-old daughter, no less. Mom of the year, everyone. As we got out to her car, right as she got in, I said, "Thanks for coming to name of park. Feel free to never come again," with the biggest grin on my face, because that was my first Karen. At least it ended well. When I got inside, my manager told me I handled the situation very well and I had a pretty uneventful end of the night. So please remember not to be rude to the workers, because we're often right. And our second story. Lady demands the manager to give me, a student, some raise or promotion. For background, I was a 19-year-old college student in a university under the hospitality course majoring in culinary entrepreneurship, and every week we have to buy ingredients for our cooking/baking subject. Our categories were petit four cakes. In our groups, each member were assigned to buy certain ingredients based on availability as we go to university or back home. Our uniform, quite important, consists of a light cream short-sleeve polo, green and blue striped necktie, dark blue vest with our university course logo embroidered on the left chest side, dark blue pants, black shoes, and an all-yellow ID lace and card. While an employee uniform is wearing a short-sleeve white polo shirt with company logo, black pants, and black leather shoes, they also have dark blue ID lace and white ID. On to the story. The classes ended and I decided to buy the ingredients in a supermarket near the train station. As I arrived on that station, I went straight to the mall and onto the supermarket area. On the supermarket, I removed my necktie and vest and put it in my bag and placed it in claim and deposit station because big bag are not allowed and you might snuck in a few items. The only ingredients that was assigned to me was heavy cream and powdered sugar, so I went to the dairy and creamery section first. I picked up the cream and placed it in a basket. The old lady went to me, and here is how the conversation goes. Not so accurate as this happens before the virus. Me is me, NL is nice lady, and M is manager. NL, excuse me, sir. Me, yes, ma'am. NL, can you help me find a butter? The one I bought yesterday was a margarine. It gives a weird texture on my cookies. Me, sure, ma'am. As the creamery and dairy section was close to each other, I went as well on suggesting items for her. Me, if you wanted cheapest one, this brand was a good unsalted and salted butter for you, but if you want quality, I recommend this for you. I use this when I bake some myself. NL, thank you, young man. May I ask for your assistance on finding more baking need items? I might need your suggestion on this one. Me, being a good boy, helped her as I also get my second and last item. NL, thank you so much, young man. I can take care of the rest now. Me, you're welcome, ma'am. Because of helping her, I decided to buy a soda and snacks for my trips back home before going for checkout. As I finished shopping, I saw the same lady with the manager talking about a nice young man who helped her and demanded to give that person a raise. When she saw me as I claimed my bag, she approaches me as she pointed to my direction and said this to the manager. NL, that's him. That's the young man I was talking about. I would like to ask on giving him a raise for helping me. Manager, ma'am, I appreciate your good feedback, but I'm sorry he doesn't work here. NL, wait, you didn't work here? Me, sorry ma'am, but I'm only a student. Here's my ID. I think you've mistaken me for an employee due to almost similar uniform. NL, oh, how embarrassing for me to ask a complete stranger and waste a manager's time. Manager, it's fine, ma'am. If he was to actually work here, I would consider your comment to him. Me, it's fine for me too, ma'am. I'm not that busy anyway, and I'm just helping when I can, even if I don't work here. NL, I'm sorry again, and thank you very much for helping me. Me, you're welcome again, and I'm happy to help. And then we went on our way. From that day on, I went on my way home and eating my snacks feeling more delightful just because I help a person when I can. Sorry, no complaint and no Karens, just a wholesome ending here. And our last story. My neighbor is threatening me with legal action if I build a fence on my own property. My neighbor and I have bordering backyards. His yard is extremely small, while mine is significantly larger. He's caused some problems with an encroaching deck in the past, and I'm working with the HOA to have it removed. I've told him that I plan to build a fence between our property lines, and he's threatened me with unspecified legal action if I proceed. He said the fence would harm the value of his property, making it nearly unsellable. He said he would exercise all legal options if I proceed and that I would hear from his attorney. He's enlisted his next-door neighbor, whose yard also borders mine in the back, and that person has also similarly threatened me. I would only build a fence with full HOA approval, which I believe I can easily obtain. However, I've been reading about spite fence statutes, and I'm wondering if I'm vulnerable. Several of my neighbors, on my side with the bigger yards, already have similar fences. It doesn't make sense that I'm restricted from having a fence while others are able to keep theirs. I've mentioned it to them, and they're extremely alarmed that if my fence is restricted due to a neighbor's loss in value, their fences could be forcibly removed as well. The fence quotes I've been getting are over $10K. Just stating the obvious, I wouldn't want to spend this only to be sued and be forced to take it down. Update. After talking with my lawyer friend, we came up with a few things. My local city ordinances and HOA approve with my fence type choice, and I used a local contractor that builds it to code with permits. The opinion of my neighbor matters zero. Can my neighbor sue me? Yes. People often threaten lawsuits to get you to bend to their will. It's Ignorant Person 101. So the fence is built, and it looks great. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.